Good evening. Beautiful weather today, but possible severe weather is on the way in hours. We'll have the latest. Also tonight,
one man is arrested in connection with a deadly shooting last year. We'll have an update on the investigation.
Also, changes could be coming to a local lake destination. We'll have the plans and what they could mean for visitors. This is Newswatch, and your Friday edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Here's a live look outside at the EIU campus pond on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Austin Perez.
And I'm Andrew Spade. It may be nice right now, but there's potential for severe weather in our forecast. Now let's check in with local forecaster Scott Ely at what to expect. Scott, what do we got?
well, gentlemen, this is called a frontal boundary system. That's what we have working, and in front of the cold front that will be moving through, buoyed by a low pressure system, there is developing storm activity. These red triangles, or trapezoids actually, they are areas of tornado warning. Already in the WEIU viewing area, we have areas that are under tornado watch until 11 p.m. tonight. That includes Macon County, Christian County, and Shelby County. We're keeping an eye on this entire situation. You also saw those red circles passing through. They buoyed our temperatures today, which created also a little bit of instability in the atmosphere to go along with what we're expecting tonight. We had temperatures highs in the 80s today throughout the WEIU TV viewing area. In fact, still our temperatures are well above average conditions. And as we take another look at the sky, it looks a little ominous. It's going to get darker in the next little bit. Now let's go back to the anchor desk.
Thank you, Scott. A Mount Zion man is arrested on charges of child pornography. On Wednesday, Mount Zion police, alongside Attorney General Kwame Raoul's investigators, arrested 19-year-old Spencer Price. Authorities say Price was charged with 8 counts of possessing child sexual abuse material, each punishable by up to 7 years in prison. This case is part of the Attorney General's collaboration with federal and local law enforcement to arrest offenders who download and trade illegal material. His court date is the 27th. An arrest is also made in the shooting death of a Champaign man last year. Champaign police say 26-year-old Keaton Bryan of Champaign was arrested Thursday in Chicago for his role in the murder of 24-year-old Richard Frazier. Frazier died the night of November 16, 2025, after he was shot leaving his apartment in the 3700 block of Colleen Drive. Champaign police say the arrest was made with help from the United States Marshal Service, and they say the shooting remains under investigation and encourage anyone with information to contact Champaign police. Also in Champaign, University of Illinois police say a student is behind bars after striking a bicyclist with his car Thursday night. Authorities were dispatched to the corner of East John Street and South 5th Street in Champaign just after 10:30 for a traffic crash. On scene, they say they found 30-year-old Soliman Komakov's damaged vehicle in the bushes near the intersection and an injured juvenile cyclist. Police say surveillance footage showed Komakov's vehicle struck the cyclist, collided with a concrete barrier, and nearly struck a building. He faces charges of aggravated battery, reckless driving, and disobeying a stop sign. Authorities confirmed Komakov is a U of I student. He was transported to the Champaign County Satellite Jail pending arraignment. The cyclist was taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
A longtime health and wellness facility in Douglas County is ending operations after more than 50 years. Rise Behavioral Health and Wellness in Tuscola announced this week they're ending clinical operations May 22nd and transitioning their organization June 30th. The organization cited funding and staffing challenges. They say over the coming weeks, staff will work with clients to provide individual support and referrals and coordinate with other providers. A move by federal authorities could affect your summer travel plans. The FAA announced Thursday they're limiting the number of daily flights out of Chicago O'Hare to 2,708. The airport had initially planned for more than 3,000 flights a day. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the reduction is meant to address safety concerns and potential for delays. Locally, authorities at Willard Airport have blamed regulatory uncertainty around O'Hare for the delay of new United Airlines service to June 1st. Now closer to home, construction on Interstate 57 could also affect your travel starting next week. Officials with IDOT say crews will begin reconstruction of the I-57 interchange bridge at Neoga Monday. They say workers will rebuild the southbound bridge this year and the northbound bridge next year. The full project is set to cost $54.6 million. A new record finds Illinois community colleges contribute more than $27 billion to the economy statewide. The report reflects fiscal year 2023-24 data and shows the role Illinois' 45 community colleges play in workforce development, businesses, growth, and economic mobility. State leaders say education is a priority, and they are expanding access to transform students' lives, strengthen regional industries, and boosting economic momentum statewide. The report also indicates alumni alone impact about $25 billion in added income for the state. One local community college is introducing a new model to help students complete courses based on when they master a skill rather than following a traditional semester schedule.
Newswatch's Rashad Jones has more insight on what students can expect.
Spend time around schools, universities, or community colleges like this one, and you may hear the phrase competency-based education.
Competency-based education is more aligned to what you'd probably see in industry, where you actually need to get competent on the skills. It's not so much that you spent an hour, looking at schematics or anything, but you can actually perform whatever it is you're trying to do.
One college has implemented the CBE program in the fall of 2026, where students, get this, don't have to finish the whole semester to complete their course, and that college is Lakeland College.
They can quickly move through the program on the things they already know, so they're spending time in the areas that they want to build new skills rather than having to go over the old skills and sitting in a seat for an hour listening to a lecture on something they already know.
The CBE model has gained a lot of traction in all levels of education across the nation in recent years. Lakeland began working toward integrating a CBE format as early as 2023.
We can offer any class, any semester, and we can start classes at different times depending on what the students actually need.
And Lakeland leaders say this flexibility can benefit students who come to Lakeland with work experience. In Mattoon, I'm Rashad Jones for WEIU Newswatch.
3 manufacturing programs that are enrolling for the fall semester include CBE, including Automation Specialist 1, 2, and Applied Engineering Technology. Lakeland officials say the approval was a huge milestone, but there's still plenty to look forward to. The city of Shelbyville is on track to take over the Dam West Recreation Area at Lake Shelbyville from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Shelbyville Mayor Jeff Johnson says that area included the 9th Street Beach, boat ramp, and beach pavilion. It will be added to an existing 25-year lease signed in 2023 that include parts of the Forest Park. Under the terms, the lease doesn't cost the city anything, but Shelbyville will take over maintenance and development of the location. Johnson says access for residents and economic development are key goals moving forward. He says future potential ideas include a space for food trucks, a restaurant, and a courtesy dock. The mayor says the city plans to host the public meetings and work closely with local stakeholders to determine future directions. He says the fee schedule is expected to remain the same for the facilities this year, and the Shelbyville City Council has approved the move, while contract changes are being finalized by the Corps of Engineers.
Well, Austin, it sure felt like lake weather out there today.
But does it sound like we could be in for some change? Scott?
Indeed, we are in for some change because this is a cold front that will be moving through. More immediate interest will be in what is happening in front of this cold front. We'll be back with your full forecast next.
Like something out of a movie, a New York City cop chased down a theft suspect on horseback, and the whole thing was caught on body cam. The NYPD says it was an alleged purse theft that set off the surreal sidewalk pursuit on the city's Upper West Side, with the suspect bobbing and weaving across streets and around parked cars until a citizen helped detain the suspect. NYPD shared the video on social media saying, "Whether on foot or hooves, our officers are always ready." From clip-cloppin' coppin' to good old-fashioned pavement-pounding police work in Iowa, where there was another running animal police chase thingy. I'm a horrible writer. Anywho, a dog on the loose led police officers and animal control workers to hightail it down a highway, even reportedly blocking off the interstate to collect the wily pooch, which, according to KCCI, they did eventually do, and probably while dog tired. Finally, one more police body cam story with a surprise ending. Officers in Westlake, Ohio visited the home of a 91-year-old resident after family members say she didn't answer multiple welfare check calls, including one from the city's automated calling system. But thankfully, the responding officer not only found the woman safe and sound in her home, but, well... Yep, according to Cleveland.com reporting, the woman had ignored the calls while tenaciously trying to level up her favorite bubble pop-style mobile game. So for all you freaks hoping for a provocative unsolved mystery, sorry to burst your bubble. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Good evening and welcome back to Weather. We want to show you this system moving toward us in a couple of different ways. First of all, this is a satellite up to date showing you the storm activity that is headed toward Illinois from Iowa and also from Missouri. This is the major portion of this storm activity. Now we want to show you something color-coded with this. Here's what we have projected for a little bit later tonight, and you can see it's already expected that the winds will be in our area, maybe even a little bit of precipitation in the 7 o'clock hour. And watch as the color approaches. That's the frontal boundary that we just showed you on the satellite. It will envelop the entire viewing area before midnight, and then it will continue to move forward. And look at those temperatures. They go down and down and down, and then eventually we're in the 40s. It's almost like a late winter forecast, but we are now officially in spring. These are our area conditions right now, and look at this. Our temperatures here are generally in the 80s or upper 70s, but you see throughout the viewing area mostly cloud cover moving in, except we do have mostly sunny conditions in Effingham. Now overnight tonight, here's our forecast. We do expect low temperatures near 52, but the major weather news, of course, is the possibility of severe storms, possibly damaging winds, possible lightning, even a possible tornado, maybe some hail, and winds gusting at over 40 miles per hour at times. We'll get more specifics on this in just a moment. In fact, here are some of those specifics. A severe storm risk. Actually, this is an enhanced risk now for the northwest section of the viewing area. This is where this is the area most at risk. Meanwhile, for the remainder and most of the viewing area, we are simply called slight risk. But those risks include possible tornadoes, possible flash flooding, wind damage, dangerous lightning, hail. And again, there are counties in our viewing area, primarily right now Christian, Macon, and also Shelby County, who are under a tornado watch until 11 p.m. Now the timing of the storm activity, and in the red, this is projected to be the most intense storm activity. The purple is more of a danger area. That's a little bit north of us. But this will be moving through. This is approximate timing. It's not perfect, but it's projected activity. And we can see it's a broken line of storm activity moving through the area. And this is all happening generally before midnight and then continuing for quite a while, moving through the viewing area. And so the pockets of emphasis are constantly shifting here. And then there is a second wave that'll be coming up, and that's more precipitation, more intense precipitation, but the storm activity should have ended by then. And in fact, we will have basically clear skies by late afternoon into early evening. Here's your daytime forecast. Look at those temperatures. Not much change there at all, from the 50s to the 40s to back in the 50s again. High temperatures near 55, just not much temperature movement and chilly temperatures. And in fact, it's going to stay that way for a while. Let's set this up by looking at Sunday and Monday together. We do have a little bit of warming into the 60s, but we don't get back into the 70s until Tuesday. And we basically have a bifurcated forecast, 3 days of cooler weather, and then we are back to what is more what we might expect for late spring. It, in fact, might even feel a little bit summer-like, gentlemen.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely a big fan of that. I hope we get a little warmer as the year goes on, but it naturally will. It's Illinois.
Yeah, exactly. And we know April showers bring May flowers, but can Charleston baseball bring some more wins this month?
Also, Chicago had a slow start, but the team's starting to really pick things up. And can they keep up the pace? Thank you for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
Every year in the U.S., nearly 1,000 bicyclists die in crashes involving a motor vehicle, and an estimated 120,000 others are taken to the emergency room after being hurt on a bike. Sometimes it's an injury to the head.
Those head injuries come about because they don't have the protection of a helmet. And when I say not the protection, that means they're either not wearing a helmet, they either have a non-compliant helmet, or the helmet doesn't fit properly.
Rich O'Brien is executive director of TIC Council Americas, a trade association that tests, inspects, and certifies products like bike helmets for companies. He says the most protective helmets are ones that meet U.S. consumer product safety requirements, so search for a label inside the helmet that says it's been tested and certified. Next, he says to make sure you're not buying a knockoff.
The best way to do that is to make sure that you buy from a reputable dealer. I would suggest going to a bicycle store to buy a helmet.
While O'Brien says buying directly online from a reputable manufacturer will also work, he says going to a store will allow you to try the helmet on, and staff may be able to help you get the right fit. And finally, when you wear a helmet, he says to always make sure the strap is fastened.
If it doesn't fit or it's not compliant, then the chances are that your injury is going to be much worse than it would have otherwise.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
We begin the night down the road at Baker Field as the Charleston baseball team is hosting Rantoul. The Trojans are coming off a 5-4 win against Taylorville, where Alex Matheny went 3 for 4 at the plate and knocked in a home run along with 2 RBIs. CHS holds a 3-game winning streak, and in that span, the Trojans outscored opponents 25-4. As for today, the Trojans began playing just over an hour ago against Taylorville, and at last check, the Trojans are on top 1-0. In other news, with local high school baseball, Mattoon High is in a pretty tough stretch of games this week. They lost on Wednesday to Muhammad Seymour 4-14 and are playing Tolono Unity right now. They take on Newton tomorrow at 10 a.m. And speaking of the Rockets, they turned a different story against the Bulldogs, winning 7-1 to move to 9-2. And finally, the Wooden Shoes of Teutopolis beats Dietrich 8-1. They get ready to face off against Sacred Heart Griffin tomorrow at 12:45. Lakeland Baseball is riding a 4-game winning streak and now heads into another 3-game series. The first game for LLC Baseball was yesterday against Olney Central, where the Lakers fell short 16-6, losing their 4-game win streak. But that's okay. The Lakers will look to bounce back today at home with the first game at 1 this afternoon, with the second at 4. As for Lakeland softball, they enter the week on fire with a 5-game win streak overall and a 30-10 record on the season. The Lakers got the win 9-1 in Game 1 to extend their win streak to 6, but it ends right there as Lincoln Trail gets the win to split the doubleheader. Lakeland is now 31-11 overall, and up next, they'll take on Kaskaskia in a doubleheader on Sunday, with Game 1 set for noon and Game 2 shortly afterwards. As for Eastern Illinois baseball and softball, both teams are fresh off wins and have the chance to add on to their streaks this weekend. The Panthers softball team is back on the diamond at home tomorrow for a doubleheader against Tennessee Tech. weather permitting. Eastern will also play at 2:30 tomorrow from Williams Field and close out the series against the Golden Eagles Sunday at noon. As for Panthers baseball squad, they are far away in Little Rock playing the Trojans on the road. They begin their series shortly at 6, will play the second game of the series tomorrow at 4, and close it out on Sunday at 1. It's not basketball season, but it doesn't mean EIU women's basketball isn't making key signings. Head coach Marcus McLaughlin announces the signing of Echaznia Fernandez Arguello, a Spanish forward transfer from Otero College in Colorado. Fernandez earned all region honors, leading her team in scoring at 20.5 points per game. She also scored 30 or more points in 4 different games. And on the men's team, the Panthers bring in another signing in DeMar Burton. The 6'8" forward from San Antonio, Texas, led the GMAC conference in blocks last season for the Tiffin Dragons. This comes after former Tiffin head coach Desmond Ballantyne announced his move to Charleston earlier this week as the Panthers' new assistant coach. EIU isn't the only team announcing players. Illinois basketball gets yet another player to stay one more year in Champaign. That's right, guard Andrei Stojakovic announces he'll be suiting up for the Illini his senior season. The transfer from Cal was named to the all-region team during Illinois' run to the Final Four, scoring 21 points against VCU, 13 against Houston, and 17 points against Iowa in the Elite Eight. Coach Underwood should be thankful he'll have a lot of returning tools to work with come the fall season. At the pro level on the diamond, Chicago Cubs begin a 3-game series against a struggling Mets team that's riding an 8-game losing streak. Can you believe that? But also, can you believe the Cubs might have a chance to get above 500? The Cubs tack on 1 in the first, but how about 3 more? As Moises Ballesteros notches his 3rd homer of the season. It's 4-0 Northsiders, and Marcus Semien is up to bat now for the Mets, and he drills it to center field. This play lasts a while and lands, so fast forwarding, PCA hoses the ball to Nico Horner, and not so fast, Nico is guarding this space with his life. Nico can do it all on the sides of the ball, and this one is long gone as the Cubs go up 6-3. The deficit is too much for the Mets to come back from, and especially in the bottom of the 8th when Ian Happ launches this one out of here. Get out of here. Chicago wins 12-4 and are red hot after a tough start to the season. And before today's game, it was announced that closing pitcher Daniel Palencia was placed on the 15-day IL, farther putting a damper in an already depleted Chicago pitching room. Yesterday on the south side of Chicago, the White Sox looked to avoid the sweep against the Tampa Bay Rays and salvage a win in the series finale. In the bottom of the 3rd, Miguel Vargas goes deep to get the Sox on the board first with a solo shot. The game was tied at 2 in the bottom of the 8th until Everson Pereira hits a solo shot of his own to put Chicago back on top 3-2. But that lead unfortunately wouldn't last long as Junior Caminero ties it with a leadoff homer in the top of the 9th to make it 3-all. The Sox relief pitcher would walk in 2 more runs as the Rays take a 5-3 lead and close it out in the 9th to finish off the sweep. The White Sox now fall to 6-13 on the season and will start a 3-game series in Sacramento against the Athletics with first pitch set for 8:40 tonight. And finally tonight, it's a gender reveal on the diamond. Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher Braxton Ashcraft and his wife Cassidy used an untraditional method to find out the gender of their baby. Whichever color arm sleeve catcher Joey Bart wears is the gender of the Ashcraft's baby. And of course, since it's pink, it's a girl. The Pirates fell just short of the Nationals in that game, but it will sure be an unforgettable memory for the Ashcrafts. Well, it may be a nice night on the ball diamond. Andrew, back to you.
For sure, it's going to be a nice night out. Thanks, Austin. Still to come, Scott Ely is going to give us more about a nice night outside today. Plus, a traditional race is returning to Champaign-Urbana next week. We'll have more information from the local charity event coming soon. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
I'm Blake Wood, Eastern Illinois University class of 2006. I worked at WEIU Newswatch all 4 years of college and still have the collection of vintage shirts to prove it. The experience I gained at WEIU launched my career in TV news and public relations. Today, WEIU needs your help now more than ever. With the loss of federal funding, I'm asking you to join me in supporting the station. Visit WEIU.net to make your donation. What I'll always remember about WEIU are the lifelong friends I made and the professional experience I gained working at the station. It's where I anchored my first newscast, covered severe weather, and told stories that mattered to communities like Charleston, Arcola, Casey, and Paris. If you value education, local news, and local programming, please donate online or call the station. Support WEIU. Thank you.
And finally tonight, a Central Illinois tradition returns in just over a week. The Illinois Christi Clinic Marathon Race is happening in Champaign-Urbana next weekend with events from April 23rd through the 25th. This event supports local charities with about $2 million already donated, and local officials say it also boosts the local economy. Local leaders say the event will mean disruptions for residents and businesses. Well, we certainly had some nice running weather today, Scott. You know a lot about running.
Well, I'm a former runner. I hope to get back to it, but you know, some people like to run in the rain, so maybe they should run this evening. We have rain projections at about a half an inch or more. They've said possible flooding, but that's probably not the exact situation. We are at risk, though, tonight of severe weather, possible damaging winds, lightning, and also a slight risk of tornadoes and hail. Much better situation for tomorrow, but be careful tonight and stay weather aware. We do have 3 counties in the viewing area under a tornado watch until 11 p.m. Those are the counties in the northwest area.
Yeah, everyone make sure to stay safe tonight.
Yeah, I'll do my best. And thanks, Scott. And thank you for joining us. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net.
There you can find real-time forecasts and the news video of the day. And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@WEIU.net.
And we leave you tonight with scenes from Baker Field. You saw it a little bit earlier. Have a great night.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.